Hey everybody, well, I want to talk to you about when you boil eggs. You have to check and make sure you check on the water every 5 minutes. It took a matter of 10 minutes. I was in the other room relaxing, and all of a sudden we heard boom. We didn't know what it was. We were all terrified. We discovered the water evaporated somehow, and the eggs just went all over the place. It exploded. Eggs can explode, so you need to be careful with that. Well, today we're going to head back towards school, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Mama used to make egg salad. We used to come home, always go home for lunch. First of all, we're going to cut up the egg yolk. We like to separate the yolks from the whites. It always makes a really good egg. So I'm going to put the whites in this second. But first, I'm going to cut up the onion. Yeah, you have to always watch something when you cook something. You even have to bring a chair to the kitchen with a book or something and just relax or go on your phone and you do whatever you have to do on Facebook. But make sure you always keep an eye on eggs when they cook because, you know, the water evaporates. The eggs could explode. You got to be really careful with that. We're lucky none of the cats were in here at the time. Let's use a Vidalia onion. Now, put it in here. Yesterday was my daughter's birthday. She had such a lovely day yesterday, so that's why we didn't film yesterday, because she's my camera lady. Alright, now we're going to put in the whites. I'm just going to mash everything together. Mama used to make the best lunches. I don't know, we used to go home from school when we were in grade school, and the lunches were so wonderful, folks. You have no idea. Oh, folks, I'm so tired. It's one of those nights. Okay. A little bit more onion. You want it really good. You want to really have a good lunch when you get home, when you go home from school. I mean, we used to go home in the olden days, back in the 60s. We always went home for lunch, and my mom was always there always had lunch for me. Let me just wash off my fork. Oh. Yeah, it was one of those mornings, folks. Very frightening when you hear boom. You don't know what it is. You know, it's very scary. My favorite mayonnaise is Hellmann's mayonnaise. I always will use Hellmann's mayonnaise. Now we're going to put a couple forkfuls of mayonnaise into the egg salad. We're going to mix it together. You also want to make sure you have onion in it because it will give it the flavor that you really like. Okay, let's move everything over before we go to the next step, which is adding salt and pepper. Okay, now let's close up the mayo. Yeah, I always use Hellmann's, so did my mom. Clean off the onions and you don't need that on the countertop. Now, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add in some salt. So it's all out. All right. You know, folks, I think we're out of salt. Not to worry, folks. In my pantry cabinet, we have tons and tons of salt. Here we go. Ever since the virus came along, we make sure we have a lot of salt. We have to redo the salt shaker later. We're going to add some salt. You want it to taste really good. Not too much salt, but just enough salt. A little bit of pepper. There we go. This is what you really want it to look like. If you have lettuce in the house or tomato, you can serve it with that. Alright. But my mom really made a fantastic, wonderful egg salad. I just have to grab a knife, folks. Right here. Now I'm going to put it on white bread. Mom always served it on white bread when we came home from school. You know, Mom never went back to work when we were little, when we were in grade school. She wanted to make sure we had the proper lunch and everything. Alright, now we're going to cut this. There we go. And here we have a delicious lunch when you come home from school. Well, we used to come home from school back in 1960s. And nowadays kids don't come home for lunch anymore. But back then they did. Mama always had a little bit of potato chips with it. She had a cupcake. She would give me a cupcake. Deborah's Home Country Kitchen. Have a great day. Please subscribe to a wonderful YouTube channel.